Welcome back to The Middle Way. I'm Marlene, your narrator for this evening. Right now I'm speaking to you from Thailand. The air is a little heavy tonight, but my heart feels calm and light. And how about you, my friend? Where in the world are you listening from right now? Maybe you're lying in your bed, sitting in your office, sipping coffee in a small cafe, or riding a train through a city that's still wide awake. Wherever you are, I invite you to drop a little hello in the comments, because even though we may be far apart, our minds are tuning in to the same quiet frequency right here, right now. Tonight, I want to gently invite you into a question that is as old as human existence itself. And perhaps there is no final answer to it, but if we listen with a still heart, it might slowly lead us closer to something important inside ourselves. The question is, what is real? Take your time as we move through this together, because sometimes the most important truths reveal themselves, not in answers, but in how we listen. Today we live in a world that is rapidly moving toward the ability to simulate reality so perfectly that we may no longer tell the difference. From ultra-realistic video games, to immersive digital metaverses, to AI systems that can generate lifelike people, voices, even entire worlds, we're getting closer and closer to a point where the question arises, if the world we live in is a simulation, then who are we, really? But the deeper meaning of that question doesn't lie in whether or not there's a more real world outside this one. Instead, it brings us face to face with a far more intimate mystery. Is the thing I call myself truly real? Because if we perceive the world through a body made of cells, a brain powered by electricity, and a memory shaped by chemical signals that shift with each emotion, then what part of me is ever truly solid? If all of it is in motion, always changing, always dependent on causes we didn't choose, how can any of it be the unshakable self we so often believe in? Maybe we are not one thing. Maybe we are many things, coming together just for a moment, like a car made of wheels, steel, and engine parts that only becomes a car when all of it fits just right. And if that's true, then what about consciousness? Is it real? We can't see it. We can't point to it in space, but it's the only thing we're absolutely certain exists. You might not be sure whether the world is real, but you know that you're aware of something right now. You're aware that you're listening, aware that thoughts are moving, aware that there is something inside that simply knows, I am. Some say consciousness is the one thing that technology may never be able to create because it's not the result of information. It's not a program. It's not a pattern that can be copied or optimized. Rather, it's something that arises when countless elements come together in just the right way. Not unlike music, which is not just the notes on a page, but the harmony between rhythm, silence, and sound. Consciousness doesn't seem to belong to any one thing. It doesn't live in the brain or the heart or the voice. It arises from a convergence of many things: cells, genes, memory, emotion, experience. But most of all, it arises with intention. Intention may not always mean a goal. It can be something much softer, a gentle pull that moves awareness in a certain direction. It's present in every action, every word, even in the silence that chooses to listen instead of speak. Even now, as you listen to this, you have an intention, however subtle. Maybe it's the wish to understand something, maybe it's the need for stillness, or maybe it's simply the curiosity of being with yourself. Whatever it is, that intention is the quiet force that reminds us. We are more than machines. We are not just information. We are not the product of lines of code. We are living processes, shaped by meaning, memory, and movement from within. So then, if we gather all these elements together and ask, what are we? The answer may not be a single word, but it begins with understanding this. We are the result of causes and conditions. We do not exist independently. We exist because everything has come together just right in this moment. And because those conditions can change, we can change too. Nothing about us is fixed. And yet nothing is missing. There is no need to grasp and no need to reject, because everything that makes us who we are is flowing just as it should. We are like a wave on the ocean, not separate from the sea, but simply a pattern, a moment, a brief rising of what was already there. And so we return again to the question we began with: what is real? Some might say nature is real because it doesn't require belief. It doesn't need our understanding to function. It simply is. And within nature, one thing never fails to show itself as real: change. Everything changes. The body changes. Emotions change. Thoughts change. Even truth changes when seen from different places. Change never lies to us. It doesn't promise to stay. It just moves quietly, inevitably, honestly. And yet, within all this change, there's something that seems to remain, the part of us that notices the change, the one who knows this too is passing. Some call it the observer. Some call it awareness. Some don't call it anything at all. They simply notice that there is something inside which quietly knows. And maybe that's the one thing technology can't reach. It's not a calculation. It's not a line of logic. It's not the result of processing data. It's a state that arises when certain conditions align just right, like a song that appears only when sound, silence, and intention come together. We don't possess this awareness. It's not a thing we own, but when it arises, we live more deeply, like a ripple on still water, not owned by anyone, but felt by everything. If one day technology truly becomes powerful enough to create a virtual world, so perfect that the beings within it feel emotion, form memories, make choices, and become aware of themselves, then we must ask, where is reality? Is it outside? Is there such a thing as the real world anymore? Maybe. The answer is neither inside nor outside. Maybe every layer of existence, from the physical world to the simulated world to the world inside your mind right now, is made from the same fabric, all born from intention, all driven by craving, aversion, or delusion, all caught in a cycle of becoming, all spinning in the same samsara, just wearing different faces. And even the creator of a simulated world, if they act with intention, they too are not outside the laws of nature. They too arise from conditions. They too are composed of processes. They too are not free from cause and effect. In the end, we might discover that there is no beginning and no ultimate outside to this world of interwoven layers. We might see that even the question, why am I here, doesn't need a dramatic answer, because everything that makes us who we are, from our DNA to our family history to the shape of our brains to the stories we've lived and forgotten, is nothing more than a constellation of causes, conditions, and timing. We didn't create ourselves, but somehow the conditions aligned just right for a conscious moment to appear. For a life to arise, we are not permanent, but we are real in the way that waves are real, not because they last, but because they move. And once we see this, perhaps we stop trying to prove ourselves. We stop chasing a final identity. We stop fearing the flow of change. We simply begin to walk with it as one who sees and doesn't cling. And so here we are, coming to rest at the edge of the same question we began with: what is real? Tonight we didn't rush to answer. We wandered through the soft spaces between technology and truth, between consciousness and computation, and between the self and the story of the self. And slowly we came to see the only thing that never lies is change. Everything else can shift, break, vanish. But change never pretends to be anything else. It simply flows. As nature flows, as we flow, but within that river of change, there's something that watches quietly, something that knows this is happening now, and that may be the one real thing we ever need to trust, not to hold on to, but to witness gently, to walk with without fear, to live beside with awareness. In the way of the middle, we do not seek escape from this world, we do not chase illusions, but we also do not fall asleep inside them. We walk awake within the illusion. We live calm within impermanence, and we choose to be here not as victims of cause and effect, but as those who see cause and effect. and learn to move in rhythm with it. There is nothing to run from. There is nothing to cling to. There is only this moment arising and falling as it always has. Thank you for walking with me tonight. If what you've heard has brought even a moment of stillness to your heart, then that is enough. Don't forget to subscribe to The Middle Way so we can meet again in the quiet corners of your evening. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you live with awareness and see the truth with gentleness. I'm Marlene, and I'm grateful to have been with you this far. May your night be deep and full of peace.